First, thanks for joining us and giving us your perspective here with the storm that's coming, Commissioner. What is the expectation from the state with this storm when we talk about areas like Watertown, Lowville, and Messina, our area here in the North Country?
The big thing we're worried about in your area is the flash flood risk. The Weather Service has put out a brief that basically gives a 40 to 70% chance of a flash flood somewhere within the North Country, somewhere within your area. Watertown is certainly in there, Lowville is in there, Messina is a little bit north of that area. So unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly where, but it is a pretty high chance that we're going to see a flash flood at some point today. That's really because of two things. The first thing that's happening is that it's going to be a lot of rain. Now we're looking at widespread 1 to 4 inches in local places. We might see 6, 7 inches even. That might not sound like a lot, but every inch of rain is 10 inches of snow if it were snowing. So it is a lot of moisture. And of course, in your area, the runoff from the mountains becomes a real factor. And our ground is so wet already. We've had a really wet year in New York and up in the North Country, up over on the eastern edge of Lake Ontario. And so the ground is already saturated. So there's not a ton of places for that water to go.
We can get that kind of snow, of course, 3, 4, 5 feet in a storm, but it's frozen, and with rain, it's liquid right away, and that can cause some problems. And something like this, Commissioner, communication is key, right, to be ready and prepared. What kind of conversations are you having? Who are those conversations with? Anyone local? And what sort of things are you talking about?
Yeah, so the Office of Emergency Management, the Governor Hochul directed us to get out in front of this. Office of Emergency Management has been talking to all of our county and our local emergency managers, offering the state support. We've been preparing our own state staff, so road crews to clear roads, making sure the utility companies have the appropriate staff, ready to respond. We've stood our emergency operations center up to an enhanced level of monitoring. It's really our job to make sure that counties and localities have what they need to be secure and to be prepared, and then that the state agencies are ready to respond. So that's all the type of work we've been doing. Really for this one, only over the last day or so, we didn't have a ton of warning about how bad today might be until about 12, 18 hours ago.
When you talk about state support, what does that look like? When we get this kind of rain, what kind of things could happen?
What you could have a need for Swiftwater rescue. The state has a number of Swiftwater teams. We are gathering those teams right now, making sure that they're ready to go. You could have a need. You could have a bunch of downed trees, whether that's from oversaturation of the ground or the winds that come with a storm like this, and so you might need help clearing roads. Obviously, we might see some power outages. I'm more worried about power outages south of you than I am for you. But then we would be working with the utility companies to coordinate that response. If you end up having flooded areas where we needed to reroute traffic, we would be involved in that type of stuff as well.
What about road washouts? I guess that would be a possibility with something like this if you get a quick amount and culverts can't keep up, right?
I will not be surprised if we see some road washouts in the North Country, and obviously we would be then in touch with the locality and the county wherever that happened to offer any support we could offer.
Commissioner Bray, thanks so much. Appreciate your time today.
Thanks so much for having me.